Hello guys, this is Joe Neville, and today I've got a video for you about Openswitch and HPE's Altoline. So this is going to demonstrate how to install Openswitch on physical hardware. The way that we do that is by using the ONIE process, which I'm going to run through with you. This is the first video in a series of two. I'm going to be showing you the USB install method. There's going to be a second video that shows you the HTTP method. Okay, so what's this all about? Network disaggregation, you might have heard about that. That's where customers buy hardware from vendors, and in the past that hardware, if you think of a network switch or a router, that would always have a network operating system bundled with it, and that would be the image that should run on that device. Now we have disaggregation, so customers want more choice and they buy the hardware, but they decide what network OS that they install onto that box. So what that means nowadays is that customers are buying hardware that doesn't actually have an image installed. So they need some kind of way of getting the image of their choice onto the hardware, and the way that we do that is by utilizing the Open Network Install environment. ONIE is a Linux-based enhanced bootloader. So customers buy their hardware, decide on the network operating system. It means that when they do the unboxing of, say, an Altoline switch, it doesn't have the image on there. They use only to install the operating system of their choice. Once the image is installed and they boot for a second time, then ONIE is not invoked. It will just boot into the network OS, but you do have an option of breaking into it at the boot time, and you can then drop into the ONIE menu and erase the OS. I'll show you all of this now. So the first task then is to make sure that when you boot your switch that you provide an image, so your network OS, that ONIE can boot from. Okay, so the way that we provide the image is either by putting it on a USB and connecting it to the front of the device, which is nice and easy, the one that I'm going to show you in this video, but it doesn't scale well. So you imagine if you were installing thousands of switches, having guys with USBs is not going to scale very well. So a much better, more realistic way of doing it is to set up DHCP, maybe DNS as well, and put the image on an HTTP server that ONIE will search for. I'll be showing you that process in a second video. Okay, so this is only USB. So what I'm going to be using is an HPE Altoline6920. So the second step is that I will need to download the only installer image. The image name for this goes by the Edge core part number, so it's specific to the hardware, and it's called an AS5712 image that you'll see me download. We then need to rename the file to a specific title that ONIE will be looking for, and that is ONIE-installer. Then we attach the USB to the switch and boot, and then we chill and go for cocktails. So I've got my HPE Altoline powered off and ready to go. Now I need to download the correct image, so I go to openswitch.net, there's this download archive. I'll go for periodic, release, go for the latest, just make that a bit bigger. And it's the AS5712 image that I need for the 6920. And in here we see there's a number of images. The one I am looking for is this one. So you can tell that it's the right by the size. So it's a large size file and it says ONIE installer. So that's the one I want to get. Okay, so easiest way to do this is to do a wget. So I copy that URL, and I'm just going to use my Linux box that I have as a VM to do a wget on that URL. Okay, so that's downloading to my VM now. I will pause the video and jump ahead because that's going to take quite a long time. Okay, we are back. The image has downloaded. I then use WinSCP to transfer that image off, and I'm going to put it onto this D drive, which is a USB. So we're going directly onto a USB connected to my Windows client. That's going to take a while, so I will skip ahead again. The file is now transferred to the USB, so in Windows Explorer we can see that, and we need to rename the file to ONIE-installer. Okay, that's ready to go. Now the USB is ready to be installed into the Altoline device, but what I'm going to do first is boot it up without an image so you can see the ONIE menu. And what we need to do is connect up our console to it. So I'm going to run putty, run a new session here. Now, the thing to remember about this is that the speed is different from your standard 9600. It's 115/200 that we need. So we open up a putty session there, and I'm going to boot the switch. So you can hear the switch in the background. Now we're into the ONIE menu. Here you can see you've got install OS, rescue, uninstall. We don't have network OS on this at the moment, so it would just, if I left it, it would go through to the default, which is install OS. Remember, at this point I do not have the USB connected, so there's no network OS image available for ONIE, and it will go through this process of trying to raise the management interface, trying to find a USB, starting this ONIE service discovery that you can see. It goes to sleep for 20 seconds and then it starts again. So let's install the USB. There you can see that it's recognized a removable disk, and there's the Openswitch symbol. It's going through creating a clean install into various partitions. It will then reboot the switch. Now the device is rebooting. It will skip ONIE entirely and just boot straight to Openswitch. Installation finished, no error reported. Good. Now we log in as root. So this is Openswitch. To go to the Openswitch CLI, it's VTYSH, and there we are. We're in Openswitch. Show version. There we are. Release 0.3, release candidate AS5712. So if we reboot, okay, at this stage we've got the images of the primary image available. Now if we go back, and the default would be that it's just runs and boots the primary, but if we go back into ONIE, this is where we can uninstall now. So I can easily uninstall the OS if I wanted to put on a different one. So that will go through the uninstall process. So now we're back into ONIE, and I've left the USB in there, so I'll do an install OS again just to bring it back up to Openswitch. Now we're back to the Openswitch login. So login with root vtysh, and we are on our Openswitch box. There you go. So that was Openswitch being installed onto an HPE Altoline 6920 via the USB method. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment below. I'll be back with another video in which I show you how to do the ONIE install using HTTP. But for now, I'm Joe Neville. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.